How's it going?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Good, yeah. So I know you're busy with everything. I know you guys got the game tonight, so if you're ready, just get right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
First thing I wanted to ask you was, I know going between summer camp back and forth, being down there and also being in the big leagues. What's the different environments like? What's it like just in terms of that? Because we've never seen it before, obviously, in that kind of facet. So what's it been like? Is the environment different, and just how's it been? Going through that.
Yeah, so the summer camp was, I felt like the Reds did a really good job. Our alternate side is at Parasco, and it's
Yeah.
like 25, 30 minutes north of the big league stadium. And so we had, all the alternate side minor league guys over there practicing and scrimmaging against each other. But then there were some games, some scrimmages that we actually drove down to the major league stadium and had some scrimmages there, which I thought was really nice. It kind of gave you like I got to pitch in the stadium against big leaguers, against my own team before like games even started. So honestly, I thought it helped me a lot. The debut, it was essentially like the same thing. I was telling one of the guys, like, I've already done this. Like, I've already pitched here. I've already thrown against big leaguers. Like, I've already done this. And there's no fans. There was no fans then, and there's no fans now. It's like, so I thought it helped me a lot in terms of like nerves and like just kind of seeing the environment and being there before.
And what's it like for you? I know, being a rookie this year, obviously going through, a crazy season. What's it been like for you, and how do you think you found the success thus far? I mean, obviously, pitching to a great ERA thus far. I mean, what's led to the success, in your opinion?
Yeah, so this rookie year has been a little bit different from what I've heard. Some other guys in the past, I've just heard like stories, what they've gone through and stuff, just like fun
Yeah.
rookie stuff, no like crazy hazing or anything, but just like, fun, um, making rookies do fun things. But so it's been a little bit different just because we've been limited on that. They've still had their fun with me and, just doing stupid things, but it's just a little bit different. You got to be very safe. You got to be very careful. There's not tons of like group gatherings. You got to wear your mask every day. But yeah, like I think it's been nice because it's also helped me focus on the field and on playing. Just me playing and getting ready for the game each day. And I've had a lot of help from Amir Garrett. Like he's kind of mentored me. He's like been next to me all the time. Definitely given me the most crap from the veterans, but he's also talking me through like this is my first time out of the bullpen, so um, it's just like a different animal, and I've just kind of learned how to tame it a little bit, get ready for the game a little bit differently, and be ready, try and be ready every single day, recover every day. Um, we have really good scouting reports up here, so that's helped me a lot. I've been able to kind of go over those and almost get a really good feel for the hitters right before I've even faced them, and they don't have we have years of data against them. They don't have a ton of data on me. But at the same time, like I feel like my stuff is playing well, and I'm getting a lot of swing and misses in the zone, which I'm happy about. And I'm just trying to pitch to my strengths and not at the same time not worry too much about really trying to execute to their weakness.
And for you going through this year, obviously, a lot of the other guys we talked to have been in the same boat, just in terms of starter reliever, being one and having to transfer to the other, just being in the major leagues, coach tells you to go in the bullpen, you got to go in the bullpen. So what's it like for you just in terms of preparing every day, having that different, like you said, animal? I mean, has it been a hard adjustment? I know you said, mentioned some of the guys have been helping you, but what's that like, not only mentally going to the ballpark, but also physically, day in and day out, knowing you can pitch on any day?
Yeah, so for physically wise, I've definitely in terms of throwing, I treat every day like a recovery day. Until the day I pitch, because in reality, I really can't like push. Like I'm not like if I was starting, there's days that you can kind of push a little bit and dig yourself into a tiny hole because you know that you have days to recover, or you have a few days to get out of it. So it's a little bit tougher for me to dig myself into those holes. I'm pretty much always trying to climb out of holes in terms of recovery. So every day is treated like a recovery day for me until I pitch, and then that night, I'll get my workout in, and they've been good to me. That I usually had at least one day off in between, 1 or 2 days off in between my next outing, so they've helped me a lot in that sense. The mentality wise, though, it honestly has been pretty stressful because I don't know, like, I didn't really know my role coming in. I did a little bit. It was like, you're going to be the long guy, but like every time that phone rings, you think it's your name going to be called. Like, you just, so even on the days I'm down, I'm just like stressed out and trying to, just calm down. Like, no, they told me I'm down today. Like, I'm not worried about it. But yeah, so there's definitely a big difference of just how to handle business. Like a lot more recovery days, a lot more just maintaining and not like trying to make gains during season. I feel like when I was a starter, I had the ability to like try and make gains on some things, and now it's just like, nope, I just have to maintain, recover, maintain, and then when my name's called, get up and get warm as fast as possible and execute pitches.
For you too, not going into obviously a start, you're going to the ballpark, and then just looking at it, certain time before the game, you get ready, get stretched and throw. For you, how long does it take you to get ready, just in terms of going into a game? You get the call. I mean, can you be ready in 15 to 20 pitches, or are you someone who needs longer time and notice? What's kind of the notice for you? I know everybody has their own preference, but what's it like for you personally?
Yeah, so I do like weighted balls. I do plyo care stuff, like from Driveline, and so I do a lot of their just like some like not recovery, but like warm up, a lot of reverse throws. So I'm in the innings coming up, or if I notice like a situation's happening, like I could be called right here, I'll make sure I get some reverse throws in, some pivot pickoffs, just to like be moving at a very low intensity though, and then I will essentially just wait from there. Just make sure my body's like at a coasting speed. I don't want to just get jacked up for no reason and then not get my name called. So I'm at I would say like a 5 to a 7 out of 10. Just like, medium speed, like I'm going, but I'm not like killing myself, work up a little sweat. And then if I have that going, I can get ready in like 10 to 15 pitches. It's pretty easy to just get warm and get going. I get on the mound, throw a fastball. I throw all my pitches, but I just need to make sure that I have like fastballs and sliders ready to go, and because those are my go-to right now. And but yeah, when I first got on the mound, or like when I first came out of the bullpen, it took me like 20, 30 pitches. So I'm learning a good routine, and the guys, I've watched some of the older veterans do it and watch how they do it, and kind of take some of their warm-up methods and adopt them as my own.
And for you, not obviously pitching as many pitches and innings from the bullpen, are you someone, like you mentioned, seems like you were honing in on 2 to 3 pitches? Do you shrink kind of your repertoire in the bullpen just to your main pitches? Going into a relief role, obviously, not having to go through the lineup 2, 3 times and having to do show pitches and do that. Is that something where you try to pick just your 2 to 3 best pitches and really hone in on them when you go into the game?
Yeah, 100%. Like I haven't got to throw my changeup too much this year, and I feel like it's one of my best pitches. Like it's moving a lot. I've worked on it a lot this offseason. It's moving a lot, and from the analytics of the few pitches I have thrown, I've gotten tons of swing and misses on it. So I know it's still in there, and but yeah, I typically haven't been going into the game with it. I've been just going fastball slider. That's all you got to do. You just got to tack. You got to get in there and just throw your best stuff in the zone. Get ahead of guys and throw your best stuff. And yeah, like you're right. Go in there with like your 2 to 3 best pitches and go to war.
Yeah. For you too, rookie season, obviously, like I mentioned before, summer camp, everything. When did you know that you were going to get the big league call this year? I mean, was it something in spring training where you were kind of, moving towards the bullpen of the major league roster, or even a starter role, and then it kind of got shut down? I mean, when did you know that, this could be the year that you made that final leap to the majors? I mean, was it summer camp, spring training, after summer camp? I mean, what was it like, and when was it?
Yeah, so I got put on the 40-man in November, and then I came to spring training, and I was way better than I was last year. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, they put me on the 40-man from what I did last year, and now I'm like way better. I'm throwing harder, and everything's a lot sharper. I think I have a really good chance of actually making it this year. I am one of the older guys they put on the 40-man. So, age plays into it, and you don't want a guy to get too old before he makes his major league debut. You're just limiting himself, and team. It's a business decision on that too. They want to get the most out of you. We came back for summer camp, and I continued to have success, and I was still in the starter role, but they were saying just like some things to me, like, hey, cause I usually throw my bullpen when I was a starter on day 3. So they're like, hey, let's throw your bullpen on day 2 and let's try and go like max effort. Let's see if you can recover. And I was like, why? Like I want to be ready for the start. And they're like, oh, well, they want to see if you can recover and see if you can come out of the bullpen. I was like, okay. Like, so just like little like comments like that. I was like, I have a really good feeling I'll make it this year. I didn't know when. And, obviously it was the second game of the season, which was really cool. I've been up here pretty much since day 1. Really day 2, but so it was cool to just kind of get hints and but at the same time not know. So the work doesn't change regardless. Even once I'm here, the work doesn't change. If not, it gets more intense. So I'm excited to be here, and it was a really cool opportunity. And I thank the Reds so much for giving me the opportunity, and I hope I can keep my foot on the gas and keep going after these guys.
And for you, going into the bullpen, a lot of other guys that we've talked to have been, uncomfortable at first or hesitant to, make that adjustment. But for you, it seemed like that was the way for you to get to the big league club. Were you hesitant at all mentally or just physically, when they wanted you to ramp up your bullpens going day 2 instead of day 3? I mean, was it something that you were uncomfortable with and you just kind of went with it? Or was it something that you knew you could do from the beginning of when they told you?
Yeah, I was a little worried. I'd never relieved in the minor leagues. I'd had one game that I didn't start, and that was just because a couple of big leaguers came down and had to do a rehab start. And then I came into the game in like the 4th and started the game in the 4th. They wanted me to treat it like a start, so I was like in the locker room. It wasn't even a relief. Like didn't treat it like a relief appearance at all. So I'd really never had that relief role experience at all. So yeah, I was a little nervous. I didn't really know how to what to do. So when that happens to me in life, I just reach out to people who know what to do, and like Amir and Lorenzen and Iglesias, just watching them warm up and what they're doing, how they're getting ready, and then like I said, adopting it as my own and figuring out what works for me. So it was a learning curve, but it was a quick one. And I had really good guys to watch how they do things. So yeah, it ended up being I was a little overly nervous. It wasn't that big of a change. I actually think it's way easier to just go out there and get 6 outs compared to trying to get 21 outs.
For you too, I know you mentioned before the weighted ball is kind of the drive line. Is kind of the new analytic age. I know some of the other pitchers, obviously, in the rotation in the bullpen. Not only with the Reds, but I know Trevor Bauer's big on it, but other players too from other organizations. They're really trying to hone in on that. Is it something where you try to use it to your advantage? Is it something where you don't really pay attention to it just because of the whole analytics? You don't want to get in your head too much with all the numbers. And if you do use it, I mean, how do you find that balance between going with what you feel and going with what the numbers suggest to you?
Yeah, I'm actually a person that is maybe a little too much into analytics. Okay. I would say off the field or in training, I'm very into analytics. I check almost every throw I make, and especially after the game, every throw I make, every curveball, every slider, every fastball.
Now, for that, are you looking at spin rate for you? I mean, velocity differences in pitches. What is something that you really hone into when you're looking at the analytics? I'm assuming spin rate mostly.
Yeah, so for me, actually, I've been working on my spin efficiency, which is on my fastball, which is essentially if you hear guys they cut the ball or whatever. So I typically cut the ball, and I'm killing lift that I can get on the ball. So I was looking the other day, and I actually spin the ball better than Garrett Cole, but I don't have swing and miss stuff like Garrett Cole on his fastball. And I'm like, why is that? Why do I'm throwing, I'm not throwing just as hard as him. He throws maybe just a tick harder, but it's I have the ability to, I have the spin ability to get swing and misses, and why am I not getting swing and misses on my fastball? And so I'm really looking into that, trying to figure out the spin, not only spin efficiency. The total spin is it tells a story, but it doesn't tell the whole story. I'm also looking at spin direction to make sure the ball is moving correctly. I was looking at a lot of total spins on my sliders and curves just to make sure that they're high enough and see if there's any adjustments I made. I worked on my average spin for my curve was like 3,000, which is already an elite level curve. And then the other day I was really working on like ripping the front side of it just a little bit harder, while still being able to maintain control, obviously. And I noticed that my spin numbers went up to like 31, 3,300, which are like the top like,
top tier.
end of curveballs of the league. So, I mean, I want to be up there. I want to be amongst the elite. So I am looking at those numbers. But then when I'm in game, like I don't think about that stuff at all. I'm just throwing the crap out of the ball. So, but yeah, I mean, I have had like Caleb Gotham, our assistant pitch coach, a couple of times be like, dude, don't worry about this. Just go out there and compete. And I absolutely agree with that. Like, you do have to just kind of wash it down the drain and go out there and take what you have and compete. But then again, when you are, training and when you're not pitching and you're, working on stuff, you got to look at that. It tells a story. So, but it doesn't tell the whole story. A lot of people just look at one number. They look at velocity and they look at spin, total spin, RPMs, and they're like, oh, look at this guy. But like I said, I have Garrett Cole numbers and not Garrett Cole swing and misses, so it doesn't tell the whole story.
For that, I mean, have you been able to figure out kind of why that is? I'm just assuming maybe location or, like you said, maybe he gets, based on his mechanics. I mean, have you been able to kind of figure that out, so to speak? You have obviously the repertoire, but I mean, what's kind of the thing that's holding you back from making that, elite jump, like you mentioned?
Yeah. From what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing from the coaching staff is mostly spin efficiency and spin direction.
Okay.
So, actually, I have a ball. Let me grab a ball real quick. I can show you. Oh, sorry about that. So, spin efficiency, if you can see this ball, would be perfectly backspun fastball. Well, if it's slightly cut, it would be like this, still traveling this direction, but slightly off kilter, right? And then you have tilt, so spin direction, so basically your arm path. So some guys are like this, like really high, which they can spin the ball, and the ball will essentially defy gravity better in that direction. But I'm a slightly lower arm slot guy, so my spin is even. So this is a back spinning fastball for me, which is, to you, it looks like a side spin. So I have this and I have cut, which does give me sink, but I want lift, because lift is what gets swing and misses. Sink gets, it'll get ground balls. So I do understand and I know what I'm missing, but it's tough for me to make a change during season, because you are competing every day, or every other day. So this off season will be a special one for me. I got to get that unicorn fastball. I got to have that. I know I have the ability to get it. So it'll be a big off season for me, and I want to be able to show up to camp next year with that.
And for you, before we get into the last part of it, I just wanted to ask, I know you got the ball right there. If you want to show everybody kind of your, pitches you throw and, how you hold them, just for people that are curious.
So like for fastball, again, I'm making some adjustments, like just typical four seam, which it does show up on like Hawkeye, which is our monitoring system that tracks all the RPMs of everything. It shows up on Hawkeye as a sinker because, well, one, I think is because I threw a bunch of sinkers last year, and two is because my tilt and my cut is making the ball sink, so it has that movement profile of a sinker. But I am holding it like a four seam, which is just really kind of weird. Throw like a typical like two seam changeup with this finger on the seam and my ring finger off the seam. Just like it's kind of circle, but I don't like connect the circle or anything. I just I have a lot of pressure with my thumb on the bottom of the ball, and then when I'm throwing it, I'm thinking this circle, like this part of the ball, I want it to stay on top of the ball and rotate perfectly like this, because that will create a lot. That bald spot actually creates like a really unique like draft on the ball, which can make it sink really heavy and like really quick. Slider and curveball are relatively the same, just the way so horseshoe in the hand. Yeah. And then I'm thinking essentially my hand in this position and get my middle finger to the front of the ball so it kicks and spins like this. I want it essentially the axis like that it spins on to point up at a left-hander's face. So then it would have some sort of a downward left-handing turn. And then curveball's the same grip. I just am thinking get my middle finger in front of the ball and pull it down instead of here. It's more there.
And with that, the similar grip, is it something where it just movement makes it different? I know you mentioned, you have the more pressure on the one finger, but what kind of makes it move in a different direction or makes it slower? I mean,
yeah. So the slider is my finger's more on the side of the ball when it comes off, and then the curveball finger's on the front. So the spin is like almost completely different. So slider would be spinning somewhat like this because my finger is brushing down the side of the ball, and then the curveball I'm turning my hand more, so I'm coming through the zone this way, and so I'm at the front of the ball pulling it. That's how it gets that different action.
Awesome. And for you, I just wanted to ask you a few kind of quick wrap-up questions, let people know about you. The first one is, for you, what's something you always do pregame before a start or even just a game now being a reliever? Is there something that you do?
Yeah, take a cold shower.
Wow. Is there any reason why? Or
yeah, it just fires up the central nervous system.
Okay, cool. For you, favorite ballpark that you've played in thus far?
Ooh, I haven't been to Wrigley yet, but I'm really looking forward to Wrigley. But so far, what I've seen, I like St. Louis a lot.
Okay. Any particular reason? Just nice
scenery? Yeah, because you can see the arc.
Okay. Yeah.
From the arch from the field. Very beautiful.
Toughest batter you've faced thus far in the majors?
Javi Baez is pretty tough. He's just, he can hit everything. So it's like you got to throw it out of the zone, but at the same time, you got to throw it more than you think. And then he has a good eye at the same time. He's just a very unique hitter.
For you, favorite teammate besides Amir Garrett?
Oh, that's tough. You can't do that to me. He's not currently on our team. He's on the backup squad, but he's been up and down with us all year. But Christian Colon, CC. Okay. Yeah, great dude. Incredible dude.
For you, any particular pregame or postgame meal that you routinely have?
No, I do have a pregame. I drink beet juice before the game, but no particular meal or anything.
And for you, favorite baseball memory, at all, just, from when you were a kid to now, is there anything that stands out?
Yeah, when I got drafted in 2014, I played rookie ball in Billings, Montana. We won the championship there, and it was just really a special moment. And I'm still friends with a lot of those guys, and a lot of them are out of baseball, but just like that memory, I'll cherish forever.
Cool. And for you, what's the final thing that people should know about you outside of the game of baseball?
I love teaching baseball. So I have a bunch of kids that I teach in the off season, probably about 50 kids. I'm a pitching coach, and it's in Texas, and I'm just excited to work with those kids, and I think it's a really cool opportunity, not only for them to learn from me, but also me to teach them and give them the knowledge to help them get to the next level, whatever their next level may be. Might be just making the varsity team all the way up to D1 or potentially getting drafted. I want to give kids those opportunities that a lot of people stepped up and gave me an opportunity, and I think it's cool to just give back to them.
Is that something you could see yourself doing after when you hang up the cleats?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm really into that. It's like one of those things that like it just makes me feel good. Like I have no problem like working 6 hours a day in the off season. Like people are like, oh, you're in the major leagues, you don't need to work anymore. Because I used to just do it for cash, and when I was in the minor leagues, because you don't make a bunch of money. But I'm like, I don't care. I like kids, man. They're cool. I like hanging out with them and just like teaching stuff and like doing life lessons in the middle of a baseball lesson. It's just there's a lot to be taught, and a lot of these kids are sponges, so they're listening and they respect me, and it's cool because like I can speak into their lives and help them be better human beings.
Awesome. And for you, final thing, what are you going to do between now and the game, during quarantine, and COVID and everything like that? What's kind of your routine? I've talked to some other guys on other teams, and, the teams have specific, regiments. What's kind of your thing from now until you play tonight?
So let's see what time it is. It's noon where I'm at. So I'm gonna work on some scheduling for some kids in the off season. I have some helpers back home that help me teach when I'm not there, so I'm helping schedule for them. I'm gonna play a little video games, just get my mind off things for a little bit, and then I'll head to the field around 2:30 and start getting ready for the game.
Awesome. Thanks, TJ, for coming on. I know you're busy with everything with the season. I just wanted to congratulate you, making your big league debut this season, and just wish you all the best.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.